This one thing that I'm going to tell you about was literally my secret weapon when I sued the Department of Work and Pension. Well, in fact, it was one of a few secret weapons I had. The first one was Justice Writer Pro, which is obviously the software that I created, which is also now a case management system. So it manages all of your legal case for you. Perfect. It's specifically written for litigants in person, people representing themselves, Mackenzie's friends, and even trainee solicitors that want a more affordable case management system. But how I realised that some of the team leaders at DWP were lying, I already felt it, I knew it in my soul. But how I actually proved it was when I did this. I did a subject data access request. Now, most people, when they're doing a subject data access request, they only request for letters or emails. That's a big mistake. You should request all data. So that's notes about you, when they're talking about you because you're the data subject, when they're sending emails backwards and forwards to each other, all metadata. Now, after I took legal action against the Department of Work and Pensions, obviously they made up a reason to fire me. They said that I had accessed something that they said I didn't have the right to access. Well, I did have the right to access what I accessed. But what's even more important is that when I did the data subject access request, many months before they fired me, this piece of information that they say was such a concern featured nowhere. Nowhere at all in the subject data access request. Now, I'm pretty sure if you worked for a department like DWP and one of your employees had accessed something that they shouldn't have, the first person that's going to know about it is their team leader and their manager. Then it's going to be the SEO person. Then it's going to be the job centre manager. Then it's going to be tech support. Then it's going to be HR. It's funny that, isn't it, that there was nothing, no information, no data, no emails, no notes on files, absolutely nothing to qualify their little piece of evidence, if you want to call it that they used. Anyway, whilst I was doing all of this, I was obviously generating my own online income because I vowed after working for such a bad example of an employer that I would never ever want to work for one again. So I created my own online income. Now, I know when people are suing an employer, dealing with benefits, dealing with disabilities, even dealing with legal disputes, they need a mix of all different things. So I created Insiders. Now, if you follow me over on YouTube, you would know about this. Insiders has got advocacy support, how to create online income. You have access to Justice Writer Pro. You have all of my letters, tools, resources, and my toolkits like the Employment Tribunal Toolkit. And you can grab it all in my bio. Because as I always say, data never lies. Well, unless you work for DWP, then the data they might create may do, but you know.